Array objects have a property called length, which is meant to tell us the size of the array. But that is not exactly true. And this is another thing that you must be aware of with regards to arrays in JavaScript, otherwise you may add some bug in your code. Let's declare a new array, let's call it xyz, and initialize it with an array object containing two elements 1 and 2. Let's see what the length of this array is. And of course the length is 2. Let's add another element at the next index, which is index 2. And now if we check the length of this array, of course we should get a 3. Now comes the interesting part. Let's add an element at index 10. What should be the length of this array now? Ideally it should be 4 because we added 4 elements to it. But if you print it out, you can see that the length is now 11, which is one more than the largest integer index in the array where an element is set. Also, length is not a function. It is a property in the array object. So we don't call it by putting brackets. We just read it as a property. You can use the dot notation as shown or even the index notation for reading the value of the length property. So when you are dealing with arrays, be careful when using the length property. It may not give what you want, and you may have to write another function to calculate the length of the array by iterating over the elements of the array. We will see that in the next lecture, but before that, there is another interesting behavior of the array object. What if we set the length property of the array? Let's say we have these 11 elements in the array xyz, and we have elements at the first 3 indices of the array and the 10th index of the array. And now we say xyz.length is equal to 2. After all, length is just a property in the object. If we do that, the array shrinks such that we only have 2 elements in the array, starting from the 0th index. Alright. So if we print the array on the console, you can see we now have only the first 2 elements left. The other elements were removed from the array.